Hey guys, welcome to the Rock and Roll Aristocracy. You are, by watching this video, being invited to an elite group of music enthusiasts. Don't worry, there's no secret handshakes, there's no secret anything. You can watch no matter what. Music is all about inclusivity rather than exclusivity, But there are a few ground rules if you're going to watch and, more importantly, comment on any of my videos. Number one is to remember that music is subjective. I might put a specific song further ahead in my own rankings than you would, and that's okay. Another thing that you have to remember is that we're dealing with people's opinions. People are sometimes fragile, so just be nice in the comments. If there's anything that I see that's not nice, I will take it down. You're not going to be heard. So just now that we have that established, let's get on with the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's my first time. Alright guys, welcome back to the Rock and Roll Aristocracy. Thank you for sitting through my intro. I know it's kind of a given, but I wanted to put it out there that I'm trying to build something inclusive. I want everyone to enjoy this. So, without any further ado, I want to give you a bit of a rundown of who I am and what the channel is going to be. My name is Logan. I am 23 years old. I turned 24 at the end of this month. I've been listening to rock and its offshoots my entire life. So, when I got into watching reaction videos of the genre from various people, I was kind of pushed to make videos of my own, and I made a couple at the beginning of the year that weren't very good, and I'm trying to learn. That's the absence of my videos. I was trying to learn and watching more and more people do this YouTube thing, and I think I have a pretty good sense of where to start. My videos might not look great at the beginning because I'm just shooting this off of my phone, but I hope the content of the video overshadows the actual bad look of the video. We'll have to see. Okay, so what I want this channel to be is just rock and roll central. We're going to talk about my favorite albums, my favorite songs, random facts that I think are interesting about the albums, the songs, the people, and on occasion, if the people in the comments want that, I will do song reactions. I will not be posting the song along with my reaction because I don't want to be copyright struck on that. And I've already listened to most of the songs that you would probably give to me, so just watching me nod along for 5 minutes probably isn't the most entertaining thing. But I will give you my opinion of these songs. And so if you want me to react in a way to these songs, just post down in the comments and I will get to them. But today I wanted to give you a bit about my favorite album, which is Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. So I'm going to give you a few technical details of the when and the where and the why, and then I'm going to give you a ranking of, in terms of my favorite songs on the album. And I'm going to go in reverse order from my least favorite to my most favorite. I do have to say, before I do that, this is my favorite album. I have a list of my top 500 favorite songs that I will be putting out in the coming weeks after I've got it settled to the actual ranking. I have 500 songs. All of them are generally, like, my favorite songs, but they're not ranked in any certain way, and I want to get that ironed out more before I put it out to you. So, of those 500 songs, 9 of those songs are on this album. And this album only has 11 songs, so it's definitely my favorite album. We'll have to get to the ranking in a second. I want to give you a few background details about the album. First, as I said, the album title is Rumours. It's by Fleetwood Mac, which is a British/American group. 3 of the 5 members are from England, and the other 2 are from America. It consists of drummer Mick Fleetwood, bassist John McVie, keyboard player, singer Christine McVie, singer Stevie Nicks, and lead guitarist Lindsey Buckingham. The group had been around for around 10 years before this Rumours album, and it saw a lot of change at the guitarist position. You had, I believe, 3 different guitarists fill the spot and then leave for various reasons. And then in 1976, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks came into the band, and that was their most stable lineup for the rest of the group's existence. I say stable with, like, big block quotes, because, as you'll see, this album was anything but stable, but I digress. The album was released on Warner Brothers label, and it has a length of 39 minutes and 43 seconds. It was largely recorded at the record plant in Sausalito, California, but after the primary recordings, they went and did some touch-ups and other recordings, I believe, at the now defunct Wally Heider Studios in San Francisco. And during the album's composition and recording, there was a working title for the album, which was Yesterday's Gone. And for any of you who know the album, that's both an important lyric in one of the songs and just a really fitting image of the way the band worked throughout making this album. It was a bit of a tough time, and that's really an understatement. The album's producers were Ken Calais and Richard Dashut. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. What I thought was interesting was I watched this video, like, I want to say 12 years ago, back in 2007, and it was Colby Calais, and she was talking about her life, and she mentioned, oh yeah, my dad worked on a Fleetwood Mac album, and I was like, that was the most offhanded way of saying that. Like, I'd be like, yes, my dad worked on this album, the greatest album of all time, in my opinion. Remember, my opinion. This album produced 4 singles, and all of them hit the top 10. Instantly. The first was Go Your Own Way, which was released in December of '76, and that peaked at number 10. Next was Dreams, which was released in March of '77. That peaked at number 1. Don't Stop was released in April of '77, and that peaked at number 3, probably stopped by the fact that Dreams was at number 1, so... And You Make Lovin' Fun, which was released in September of '77, that peaked at number 9. So 4 out of the 11 songs, 36% of the album, hit the top 10 in the singles charts. This album also won the Album of the Year in the '78 Grammys. And since its release in mid-'77, it has sold over 40 million copies. I looked at several different sources, and they all seem to suggest that the 40 million number is correct, but they don't have the same placement on the ranking of best-selling albums. So what I saw the most was the fact that this was, having sold 40 million copies makes it tied for the 8th best-selling album of all time. Don't quote me on that, because I couldn't find any more accurate than that. So that was a little bit of the background of the album. And during the album, the female members kind of lived off on their own because there were various things that happened. Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham had just ended their 8-year relationship. John McVie and Christine McVie had divorced and were going through that trouble. And Mick Fleetwood also found out that his wife, Jenny Boyd, was having an affair with his best friend. So no one in the group wanted to be around anybody, let alone each other. Another interesting aside that I learned yesterday while researching this album was that, as I said, Mick Fleetwood's wife was Jenny Boyd, and I thought, knowing the fact that they are from England and knowing the name Boyd, I thought it was interesting. So I looked into it, and my suspicions were correct. Jenny Boyd is actually the younger sister of Pattie Boyd, who was the wife of former Beatle George Harrison, and later Eric Clapton. That divide between the two spawned a very important song in rock history, which I will get to eventually. But I thought that was an interesting connection from two very different bands in very different times. Now we will be getting on to the ranking. There are, as I said, 11 songs on this album. And, as I said, 9 of the songs on the album are on my top 500 list. Which means that, by default, the 2 that aren't on this list are going to make the bottom of my ranking. They're not bad songs. They're really good songs. This is one of the few albums that today, in this day and age of we want to just listen to one song off of the album, people buy, used to buy $12 albums for one song. This is the album that I can listen to all the songs and I'd be happy. But we have to start at the bottom, and one of them has to be on the bottom, and that song is Oh Daddy. It was sung primarily by Christine McVie. As I said, this song is not a bad song, it's just the bottom, because the rest of them I hold in such high regard. But Christine's passion, the story of struggling to remain perfect in someone's eyes, is, strangely enough, in my opinion, attributed to Mick Fleetwood, the drummer, considering he was the only constant during the recording session, and I think that's why it was just like a tribute to like his staying power, even though he was going through his own stuff. It's a strange title for me, and I think maybe that's what puts me off, but it's a good song, so I'm not discounting that. Number 10, Gold Dust Woman. Another thing I learned yesterday, this song is about cocaine. I didn't know that. I wouldn't have known that. I mean, I look into lyrics, and I know what the recording sessions by other accounts look like for this album, but I wouldn't have put those two together. But apparently Stevie Nicks knew a little bit about cocaine. According to a 2013 interview that Nicks did with Oprah Winfrey, she quoted herself as saying that during the Rumours recording sessions, she used to carry a gram of cocaine in her boot. And that just makes me think about the fact that the words in the song, "Did she make you cry? Did she make you break down? Shatter your illusions of love?" That could be both applied to cocaine and the on-again, off-again relationship between Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. I've always been more a fan of Christine McVie in terms of vocals over Stevie Nicks, so maybe that kind of slanted this decision to put this so low, but this album, again, I can't stress enough, there are no bad songs on this album for me, so I will listen to this song just as much, perhaps a little bit less, than the other 9 songs that I have to cover. It's a great song. Just go and listen to it for yourself if you haven't. And if you have, give it another listen. It's a great album, you know? But I digress. Number 9, Go Your Own Way. And I know all of you who know this album are immediately clicking dislike after this if you haven't already. Just hear me out, okay? Because I think some, hipster part of my brain, whenever it hears this song, it's like, no, do not like it, everyone likes it, you can't. I just think it's overplayed. It's like the go-to song for Fleetwood Mac. People will go, Fleetwood Mac, oh, Go Your Own Way. It's annoying because they have 100 songs that are, in my opinion, just as good, if not better. I might just be hipster on this, I don't like things that everyone else likes. And I'm okay with that. It's a great song, but there are so many more songs that I would rather listen to on this album. Which leads me into my next song. Number 8, Songbird. As I said, I love Christine's vocals. This is the reason I love them so much. This song is amazing. I'm sure I'm not the only one who fell in love with her vocals off of this song alone. I mean, this song's been around for 40 years. Almost 43 at this point. I'm sure there are dozens of people out there who love Christine's vocals simply because of this song. And another song that I will get to on another album. But if you listen to the song and you've never heard it before, I guarantee you the words "for you" will be in your head for the next week. Just the way she sings them. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go find out for yourself. It's awesome. So the pro for this song is that it's really beautiful. The con for this song, in my opinion, is so sparse. I get that it's just supposed to be her voice and the piano. There is something missing, and I don't know what it is. It's beautiful. It just feels like there's something missing, which is why it's so low on this list. Number 7 is Don't Stop. Now, okay, I consider this album the best breakup album ever written, and I'm sure there are a few people who agree with that statement. Don't Stop is one of the few important points in this album where it doesn't feel like a breakup album. It just feels like a really nice album. The working title that I mentioned earlier, Yesterday's Gone, this is the song that lyric came from. The idea of continuing on tomorrow until yesterday's gone, it'll be better than before. That's kind of something I imagine everyone in the group having said to themselves during this time at one point or another. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone. You're welcome to any of you watching who have heard the song. It's now stuck in your head. And now we get to the top 5. No, sorry, I messed up. I was looking at my notes and I messed up. Number 6, Secondhand News. This is the opening track of the album. If this doesn't tell you what the album's going to be about, you don't have a pulse. You're not paying attention. The first 2 lines of this song, I know there's nothing to say, someone has taken my place. It's the most bitter thing I've ever heard to start an album that wasn't supposed to be a hurtful, sarcastic album. I mean, it's a very pop album, but it has some really horribly sarcastic, venomous things. And this song is one of them, and I think it's great. It wouldn't be any better. It might be worse if it were different. The way I can characterize this song to you is I'm gonna curse you out, but I'm gonna dress it up to make it look nice and make you feel better about it. Now we're getting in the top 5. I got ahead of myself because I saw what number 5 was, and it's a song that I'm sure people know. People who don't even listen to Fleetwood Mac have probably heard at least some part of this song. Number 5, The Chain. And I think you have not really lived unless you've pantomimed the bass line to this song. Everyone knows it. Maybe not everyone, but everyone who listens to classic rock knows this. Destructive behaviors, lies, underhandedness, that's all the chain, and despite that, the chain will keep us together. I don't know if that's, like, positive or vaguely threatening. It's probably both. I'm just glad that, they held it together as much as they did for the duration of this album's recording, because if they didn't, I wouldn't be sitting here almost 43 years later talking about it to you. I'd have to pick a different album, which, I mean, if this album didn't exist, I'm sure would be a lot easier than me thinking about it now and saying, yeah, the album does exist, but I have to choose a different one, but I digress. Number 4. Okay, number 4 is Dreams. And I have to give a shout out to the guys, George and Ryan in Lost in Vegas, because I watched their video on Dreams that they put on their channel a couple of days ago. And I really appreciated it because I like their energy. They're one of the few YouTube channels that actually got me thinking I could do this. A few others, JB Lethal TV, thank you, James. No Life Shack, JVTV, King KTF. Those guys, I watched all those guys for about a year, and slowly understood that off of that I could make a separate idea channel that would cater to those people that are like just getting into rock and other related genres. So all those guys, I know I kind of hid this thank you in the middle of a song, but thank you to all of you for helping me see that I could do this. But going back to Dreams, the feel of this song, the dreaminess, and yes, pun intended, it almost masks the fact that the entire song is just like a jab at what I believe is Lindsey Buckingham. When I wrote this line yesterday, and for some reason I really like it. Quote, "It hits hard when you finally realize that though Nick's vocals might be tucking you into bed, her words are stealing your wallet." I don't exactly know what I meant by that, but it still stands. It's like, she has a very nice voice that's saying some really not nice things. Like a heartbeat drives you mad in the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost. If you think this is not a breakup album, just listen to this song. Okay, finally we're getting into the top 3. Number 3, I Don't Want to Know. If Don't Stop is the only track on the album that conveys any sense of positivity, I Don't Want to Know at least acknowledges that there's like a human on the other side of the relationship. It's like, it's not just bitter for nothing. It's like, okay, you suck, you made me feel bad, but maybe if you have some sort of happiness, I don't really care, but I'm not going to stop you either. So that's the message I got from the album. It's like Dreams without all the backhanded stuff. It's just like, okay, fine, you suck, but I care enough about you to let you be happy. It's not hopeful, it's not suggestive of something brighter. It's the musical equivalent of apologizing under your breath and hoping no one hears you. Because you don't want someone to know that you apologized, you know? But we're getting towards the end here. And once I tell you what number 2 is, if you know the album, you'll know what number 1 is, so just hold on. Number 2, You Make Loving Fun. Sweet, wonderful you make me happy with the things you do. Surprise, surprise, it's another Christine song. If I review any other Fleetwood Mac albums, I'm sure all of you are going to get annoyed with how often I praise Christine's vocals and her musicality in general. I have something against Stevie Nicks that isn't, like, I can't even explain what it is. I just don't really like her music. I appreciate the fact that she's in Fleetwood Mac, and I don't think the band would be anywhere near the same without her. I just prefer Christine. But this song, You Make Loving Fun. First 2 lines of this song, not something I would have expected to appear on the album, especially not right after The Chain. There's a story that Christine told John, her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, that the song was written for her dog. I don't know how valid that story is, because it was actually written for someone she had been seeing during this time. And I don't really care about the subject, because the phrase, I never did believe in miracles, but I have a feeling it's time to try, kind of just motivates anybody to believe. It's a great song. It's one of those that I don't really care about the background, because the greatness of the song kind of overshadows everything. And finally, we're at number 1. If you don't know, you've got to check it out. If you do know, you already know. It's Never Going Back Again. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm putting together, like I said, my top 500 favorite songs of all time, and this is, without question, in the top 5. I am biased because I just like Lindsey Buckingham. I think he is a great guitarist and a great singer. And no one tends to give him the credit that he deserves. So this is kind of my way of saying thank you. It's a great song. You listen to the song and it's just the guitar and him singing. Listening to the finger picking pattern, it's surprisingly complex. I would not have thought. It sounds like a really nice, easy song, and it's really much more complex under the surface than you'd think. Pardon me. The story of his missteps in relationships and missed opportunities, it's a brilliant song, and the song's only like 2 minutes and 15 seconds long. I don't know how you can fit so much awesome in that little time. I mean, I've been talking about this song for longer than the song actually goes. That says something. Maybe it says more about me than it says about the song, but still, it stands. It's a great song. It's my favorite song. There you go. That's my ranking. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any comments, any direction, if you guys want me to review, not react, to any specific songs, let me know and I will write down some of my thoughts. I'll give you some background like I did for this album, and then I'll give you my thoughts. I have to just close by saying that this channel is mainly going to be geared towards people who don't know the music. So if you do know the music, you might get a little bit bored watching these videos because it's knowledge that you've already had for who knows how long. And because I want to make this more for people that don't know the music, because I like to teach. I like teaching people about things that I enjoy, and music is definitely one of those things. But I'm going to close now. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll be back either tomorrow or Wednesday. I hope that I see a few comments from you guys, at least to give me some sort of direction. I'll be getting out the top 500 songs soon. I won't give you a date because I'll inevitably go past that and it will just make me mad. But I'm going to close now. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a great day. And I will talk to you tomorrow or Wednesday. And I'm going to hold myself to that. And I know there will be people in the comments who will hold me to that. So, thank you all. Have a good night.